just joining our live stream of OurCrowd Global Investor Summit. There is so much excitement here in Jerusalem about the impact new technology brings to individuals and communities alike. Joining me at the studio, a legend in the field of medical technology, Morry Blumenfeld, former head of GE Israel and OurCrowd medical venture partner. Also with us, Sagi Brink-Danan, CEO of HIL Applied Medical, an Israeli medtech startup. Welcome, both of you. It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
So let's start with Morry. Tell us how did the medtech sector flourish in Israel?
That's a very good question. You know, when I came here first and I saw all the huge number of startups that were going on in medical, I was really astounded, and that's actually what made me stay around. There's probably close to 1,000 startups. Not all of them are going to be successful, and the interesting thing from my point of view is even if they're not successful, those people who started them go on to do something new, and they learn what went wrong when they weren't successful. So I think the motivation is to do something good, to do something important for people. And I think that motivation has been Jewish throughout.
Absolutely.
And I think this is a clear indication of why that is here, why there is so much of it here in Israel.
And how did OurCrowd become such an active investor in medtech?
Actually, that happened even before I started with OurCrowd, but I think OurCrowd also realized that this is very important. We have a very wonderful other venture partner, Morris Laster, who's really brilliant. And the two of us, I think, are very excited about OurCrowd getting into this. We're looking for very interesting and new technologies that can really help people. And that's, I think, been something that's resonated well with OurCrowd.
It's very exciting to have very interesting companies such as HIL Applied Medical. So Sagi, tell us, your technology is based on an award-winning technology on the Nobel Prize. Can you tell us how it works and what is the solution you're bringing to the market?
Sure, of course. So you're right, just a few months ago the Nobel Prize in Physics went to the person, or the two persons actually, who invented high-intensity lasers. These are lasers that are so powerful you can create conditions very similar to the heart of the sun in the lab.
Wow.
And we use these powerful lasers to accelerate protons, which are subatomic particles. And with this beam of protons, very fast, high-energy protons, we can treat cancer.
So it's very focused.
That's the benefit of proton beam therapy, that it's very focused, very precise, much more so than any other, actually, radiation therapy available today. So you're, as a physician, you can treat the tumor, irradiate the tumor, and preserve healthy tissue around it, which is very good for the patient, of course.
Which is not what's happening with all the chemotherapies that are, very invasive to the other tissues around the tumor, right?
Right. Most chemotherapy is systemic. It affects the whole body. Most radiation affects large areas around the tumor.
So it's an incredible and exciting breakthrough for cancer treatment, what you have.
That's true. It's very exciting. It's actually, proton beam therapy is not that new. It's been around for about 30 years. And yet, 30 years later, fewer than 5% of the patients who should be treated with it actually have access to it. Because these machines tend to be very large, very expensive, tens of millions of dollars. And that's really what we at HIL aim to do, is to, if you would, democratize proton therapy, bring this very important therapy to every mid-sized hospital and every patient around the world.
And how are these hospitals and medical facilities responding to your technology and in general to technologies that are coming with new proposals?
Hospitals in recent years, I think from my humble perspective, are at kind of a conundrum. There's a lot of tension between what they want to give their patients and allow their physicians to use, and what they can afford. And I think proton beam therapy is a perfect example of that. The barrier to widespread adoption has been cost. Very few hospitals can afford the $250 million facility, or even a $40 million single room, and these are real numbers. When HIL brings down the cost to about $8 or $10 million, that's affordable to most every medium-sized hospital.
My son, whom
Right.
Sagi knows very well, is a radiation oncologist. He would love to have this. I mean, he would love to have it at Rush in Chicago, but
Right.
it's too big right now to be able to get into a hospital like a fairly large one like Rush. Rush is a
It's
major
pretty large. We
hospital.
visited that. They don't even
And-
have the real estate for that.
And
So
that's the
when are
issue
we
that
going
he's
to see
trying to
this kind
solve.
of technologies actually deployed in hospitals, for example? When do you think that that'll happen?
So, if all goes well, we should be seeing first patients treated within 5 or 6 years. And we're really working hard to make that a reality. HIL has been around for 8 years. We're getting closer.
Well, we really look forward to seeing the deployment of the technology in various hospitals. And Morry, you have been in this industry investing in healthcare for years. What do you see in the future? Like, what are the investments that you're looking at?
I think we're on the cusp of being able to treat a lot of diseases that we haven't been able to do before. And HIL Applied Medical is a clear example of that, because people have been able to treat cancer, but it's been with a lot of side effects. And I think the thing that we will see with HIL when it gets going is a huge reduction in all these side effects.
Absolutely.
And I think in general, we're really on. I mean, there's going to be healthcare 15 years from now will be very different than it is now. There'll be a lot less, I think, open kinds of surgeries.
So we're looking at a very different treatments in the future.
Definitely.
This is so exciting. Thank you for joining us for our special coverage of the OurCrowd Global Investor Summit.
It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Our
Thank
team
you.
has prepared a segment on the impact of technology in our health in the near future. Let's watch.